They say don't come around here with your bling on. It could get ugly for a nigga like Klingons. Fuck you and your flag, I use that bitch to pee on. Type of shit we pee on with niggas that's peons. Used to roll blunts with my cousin from 6th straight. Used to shoot crap and sell crack like every day. Bottles of Hennessy looking out for my enemies. Never found Jesus, guess he wasn't a friend of me. Men lie, women lie, you know the rest. Money on my mind, on my grind, I'm puffing less. Hanging out with Worm, we on Douglas and Sawyer. He told me never trust a bitch and never lie to your lawyer. Said the red bone bitches is spoiled. The dark ones is royal. The white ones will spoil you, but ain't none of them loyal, Lord. I never heard more truth in a sentence, and still I tried fucking them all. Can you forgive me? Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. More nights stealing, less nights chilling. The more shots they hold, the better they feel it. Yeah, Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. More nights stealing, less nights chilling. The more shots they hold, the better they feel it. Yeah, Father, forgive me, but I'm talking my blood pops. I cannot forgive you for your life, it's a blood clot. Half a century still stuck on that needle. This is why I lie and tell the world I don't need you. Shit, I overcame my addiction to weed, bro. It's obvious you love dope more than me, though. 86 Regal creeping up, that's my cousin Nate. Kevin got an 87 Cuddy, so we celebrate. Jody got a Corvette, he took it off a customer. European face on that Chevy, cause I'm a hustler. Headed to the lake, summertime, that's all I know. Swerving a Suburban, curb it, then deserted. Flirting with this virgin nurse from West Suburban. She said she loved Durban, served me after her shift. It's lit, like the Sunday service. Sins of a father, now I'm addicted. Forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. More nights stealing, less nights chilling. The more shots they hold, the better they feel it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Can you hear me loud and clear? Lost in translation, give me a thumbs up.
Gotcha.
All right, man. Listen, guys, welcome to another episode of Flippin' Tables podcast with me, your host tonight, with my co-host, as always, the very voice of YouTube himself, Lost in Translation, is in the building. What's going on, Lost?
What's happening, man?
Come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
Oh, we got a good show tonight.
Yes. Tonight, let's end this body count conversation tonight. Tonight, we're asking the men to hold on to your nuts and asking women to hold yourself accountable. Because we want to have a great conversation tonight. Lost, before we do that, I don't want to be inconsiderate. How was your day, sir?
You know what? It was actually pretty good. I got a lot of work done today, man. I was feeling real good. I couldn't wait to get started again today, man, because you know how we do it, man. On Tuesday, I look forward to Tuesday out of any day of the week. Like Nob used to be walking around telling us Tuesday. Because that's the day we do flipping tables, and that's my day.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everybody's here. If you're watching right now, hit the like button, subscribe button, get in the comments, put your questions in there, let us know. Send a super chat. Show me you love me. Send a Cash App, which will be scrolling at the bottom of the screen momentarily. You can send a Cash App as well. Let's see here. Right there it is. Also, guys, just make sure y'all share this. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, man. Show some support to the channel. We hit 1 million views last week, and we'll continue to bring on shows. Lost in Translation has a show on Thursday, which is going to be a banger as well. But we've been having some really, really, really good shows. Last Tuesday was amazing. Last Friday was amazing. Mr. Boomer did a show yesterday, which was amazing as well. The sports show, we got so much going on over here. So, guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the notification button so you know when we go live. All right. Now, Lost in Translation, tell me this.
What's up?
In the end days, everything that's considered right will be considered wrong.
Right.
And everything that is wrong will be considered right, says the Bible.
Right.
Can you give me some, as an icebreaker tonight for you and the people out listening to us right now, can you give me some examples of what you're seeing in the world right now that relates to that scripture in the word of God that says everything that's considered wrong will be considered right and everything is right will be considered wrong? Can you elaborate?
Yes. Let me give you an example. I'm actually working on a show idea for not this week, but next week called What If? You know what I mean? And it talks about what would our community look like if we didn't eliminate our future, by getting rid of our babies. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. And in the Bible, it says, be fruitful and multiply. So that means to make sure that you have a big family, you go out and you subdue the earth, that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And that means you go out and you procreate and you make a big family, you take care of them, that type of thing. So they actually become, pillars of the community. Well, in the end days, it seems as if that's the exact opposite. People don't want big families. People don't want to listen to each other. People don't want to submit. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to listen to God. As if you think about it in the beginning, God used to walk with us and talk with us all the time. We just had a communication. Now we barely hear from him because it's the end days. It's like nothing that'll be said. We don't want to talk to him no more. We don't have no conversation. It's like every time you look up, we look for an excuse not to commune with God, but we'll turn around and look for every excuse to deny his existence. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference in between what things used to be and how they were. And now the good has flipped to the bad and the bad has flipped to the good.
So can you tell me something that happened in your not personal life, but something that's happened around you with family and friends that will give you the indication of family members that wanted you to see something that is wrong, but they want you to accept it just because it's your family member?
Well, not so much as family, it's friends too. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations where you'll have a friend who has a certain persuasion. You see what I'm saying? It was like, hey, that ain't right. We still cool and everything, but that's not right. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to have a conversation with them, like, why? You know what I mean? So do you not feel like, what you were assigned when you came into birth, that type of thing? I mean, what's really going on? So it's one of those situations, man, like in the Bible back in the day when they had Sodom and Gomorrah, and then all of a sudden, the place getting rained by on fire. And I don't want to see my friends get burnt up. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But, it's just now, it's just one of those things, man, where people just do whatever it is they want to do, and in the midst, people don't think that there are consequences to these things, and there's always consequences. You'll see people, back in the day, people would stay married for 30, 40, 50 years. And now it barely lasts a month, 30 days, and people getting annulment. What happened to, to death do you part, for richer or poor, for better or worse, for sickness or health, forsaking all others. Man, they listen to their friends more than they listen to their spouse. And back in the day, man, that's one of them situations where you didn't, consider outside source. You and your spouse worked it out, and whatever stayed between y'all, stayed between y'all. But now it seems like everybody in your business except you. So how can you manage what's going on in your household if you don't know where all this influence is coming from? So, I mean, that's one of those situations where you look at it as if, hey, man, you're not supposed to be cheating on your wife. You know what I'm saying? Or, hey, girl, you're not supposed to be cheating on your husband. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So now it just seems like that seems to be the norm. Every time you look up, women are going to these little bars in the middle of the daytime where their husband's on trips. You know what I mean? And they going in and having these little rendezvous they shouldn't be having, in the efforts where she's looking for a rich man, to elevate her, and he's just trying to, stay out of trouble or whatever. And here she comes sashaying with all her accoutrement hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Trying to tempt this man. And then on top of that, the wife sent him outside the house with no protection. You know what I'm saying? She didn't take care of him before he left. Probably talked to him all kind of sideways, set them up for failure. It don't take but a crack for the devil to slide in and be like, you know what? Let me talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You look at her, she looking fine over there. She came over here, your wife been messing up, right? She ain't want to holler at you. She ain't want to give that that thing that you know you like, you know what I'm saying? She went to arguing at you about the doggone trash getting took out. And look at Miss Thing Thing coming through here with her little red dress. And she's smiling too. Oh, yeah. All you got to do is just look at her, man. She going to come over here and sit on your lap, rub on your back, ask you what time it is, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you're slipping away to a little secret rendezvous. You know, your wife ain't going to take it. She ain't going to know. Ain't nobody going to see, ain't nobody going to know. Just go on over here and let me holler at you for a minute, you know. You know, it's been a while. You know, your wife been holding out on you for about a month. You know, doggone well, when you got married, y'all used to do it like rabbits. See, that's how the devil get in your ear. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, here come the devil greasing the tracks on the other side. You know, here come the little chick with the little red dress on. Look at him. He looking good. He got a suit on, got his beard looking all nice. I bet he smell good too. He look like money. Oh, he looked like money. Girl, this might be your opportunity right here to escape from poverty. You know what I'm saying? Escape from being poor. Girl, you know you got rent due. Go on over there and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is tap him on the shoulder. Let him know it's about to go down, 20 in the front and 40 in the back. You know what I'm saying? Make him feel like a doggone king. All you got to do is say something to him. You know, I heard his wife don't take him. Next thing you know, they're in there doing the business. Sin all over again. So that's just one of them things, man. The devil be working and people don't understand. He work all sides of the table. You know what I'm saying? And that's how people slip up. So that's why you got to make sure, man, you can't send your folks out in these streets, man, hungry and things. You know?
Yeah, I agree completely. I'm gonna shout out to 18. I see you in the chat. I hadn't seen you in a while. Mandrell, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you, man. Braxton the Snake Fiend, what's going on, my guy? Good to see you, man. He said Louisiana in the house tonight. You're absolutely correct. If you're watching right now, hit that like button, subscribe button, get on in here, have a seat, and get you something to drink. All right. Because we're gonna have a good conversation tonight, man. Listen, I have a video that I'm gonna put a little bit later, but I want to pick your brain a little bit about this conversation that seems to echo down the halls of civilization, especially for men, a conversation that men have all the time. I believe that men have egos, and rightfully so. And I believe that sometimes those egos have to be stroked by their women, so on and so forth. But when you have an ego, there's no way possible that knowing that your wife, or finding out before and or after, it's even worse if you find out after you get married, that your wife was plundered like a blender in Amsterdam. There's no way a man with any type of ego or any type of pride can live with that. Even if you go a little deeper, if the wife even cheated, I don't see a man who can live the rest of his life a healthy, stress-free life knowing that another penis has entered the belly of what's smelly. All right. And so I want to have that conversation because I want to end the conversation with the body count because I believe it does matter. I think women should be honest up front and say their number. Tell the man that you're dating how many men you have lied to, laid with. I think it's important because the women claim to have sexual liberation. And if you're proud of who you slept with, then you should not be ashamed to say how many you slept with. If you don't want to say the number, that means you're embarrassed and you're ashamed of your slut-like behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, the eighth wonder of the world is in the building tonight. Put your hands together for the one and the only. Art Payne is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on?
What's happening, Art Payne?
It's good to see you, my guy.
What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on?
We want to put an end to this conversation, but I want to first ask you guys, pick your brain a little bit. We'll start with Art Payne and we'll come back up to you.
Why you start with me though? You know, I just got in. Shit.
You know,
what's up, man? Go ahead, man.
So Art Payne, what do you think a man who has pride, who has an ego, finds out either slightly before or somewhat after he's married to the woman he's with that his wife was plundered by other men? whether in threesomes, whether she tried threesomes, whether she was with women, whether she was with men. That's all that's happening in these parts
Yeah,
today.
so the question really is that if you had an extremely sexual active woman before you married her, should you know?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna answer that because the answer is, I hope you would be able to pick up her the way she moves and wouldn't marry her in the first place. But that's the extreme. Are we tripping about a woman who may have one or two encounters before they married you?
I think
Is
that
that
we're
a trip? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking that question because if the answer to that is I don't want one of those women either, then there's no conversation. You just need a virgin or bust. So I'm just saying, the reason why we don't want sluts, right? For me, I'm gonna answer this quick. It's not necessarily because that she's just a slut. It's because we don't want her to embarrass us in front of our peers and the men we respect. Because we already, as men, have accepted women who've had one dick at least, right? And to me, man, that one dick could have been devastating. You know what I'm saying? If you can so I think we don't take enough credit as American men in the West that it's not the issue about our women having sex before. That's what I'm saying. We've accepted that. And I'm as old as I am, even fucking back when I met my wife, we're talking about the early 80s, right? She went to college. I knew she had one or two encounters or whatever it was. So if that was the litmus test, I wouldn't have married her either. But she was living at home. She had a curfew when she got back. She was respectful and dutiful to her parents. She was respectful around my people. When I had her out, there was not no whole lot of men or any coming up to her, kissing her on her lips and saying, "Oh, this is my Cheryl girl and homegirl." Just the way she moved, let me know. And then even in our encounters, let me know that she wasn't some kind of freak out there because you should be able to pick that up. So yeah, if your chick is a slut, you should even be at the point where you might want to marry her if that's going to bother you, right? You have your fun and you move on. But guys fall in love with sluts, by the way. So should we know? Should she be willing to tell you some of that? I think some of that shit you don't want to know. All right, because so all I'm just saying is no. The answer is no. If she's been out there, and Jeff said it really well. If she's had so many people in that vicinity of your circle that you in your circle that you're in, and some kind of square miles of where you're gonna live, where every man who is a cockhound knows her intimately enough, whether she actually had an encounter with him, you could almost surmise that maybe she did. I wouldn't marry her. I just wouldn't. So I think men make that distinction. I think as men, and I'm gonna shut up here, we don't get enough credit when women gaslight us, telling us that we're insecure. Most men are not insecure if a woman has had sex before. We are just not. It's not true. So gaslight. But if you're a goddamn slut, that makes a difference. That's the difference.
I think you're right, Arpain, because if it was the other way around, you'd be like, why are you insecure, baby? You know what I'm saying? I'm out here just, enjoying myself. You know what I mean? I don't know why you insecure. And you know, the main one talking about you cheated and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's shit, man.
Man, come on with that, man. Cut it out.
The average woman has had much more sex than the average dude. Because they own the commodity.
And what you said, Arpain, you said if she's had one or two.
I'm just throwing that number out there. Low.
No. Which would be a low number that you could work with, right?
Right.
1 or 2 partners. But in today's time, if you look up statistically,
it's 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah, the average is 6 to 8.
I think that's low. But here's another thing. But forget about some of that shit. The reason why women who were married for 10 or 15 years and get a divorce, or widowed after 10 or 20 years, get a divorce, and men want to marry them, because they have a reasonable assuredness that she was only using one dick for that period of time. She might have cheated, but let's just say she was true to her vows. So we forgive the fact that you were in some kind of covenant marriage and some shit like that, and this guy's banging you out, but he might have had you hanging from the chandelier, slapping your ass with a goddamn paddle, and but throwing you upside down and shit, But that wouldn't stop somebody from marrying because you give her grace because it was just one guy. And you don't talk about it. I mean, I don't need to sit down here. I told you before that my wife wanted to go do this coming to Jesus shit. I didn't think she was going to say, hey, the football team kind of looked good when I was a freshman. And that's not what she was going to tell me. But I said, I don't know if I really want to hear you, giving me a confessional about your exploits. I just didn't.
If it were to happen, like even now, if that were to happen and your wife say, you know what, y'all were talking, having some wine, whatever. And she said, you know what, babe? I remember when I was about 16 years old. When I was about 17 years old.
I know you're going to go with some shit. Go ahead.
Like, I really, really liked this boy in school and I had sex with him. But then I liked him so much, I was willing to do whatever he asked me to do. So he had me have sex with a couple of his teammates on the team. Would you look at her different?
Yes. And the answer is yes. And that's one of the reasons why I told her I don't want to hear what the fuck you did way back when. Right? I didn't, so even if it was something benign, right? And she said, I had this boyfriend and that boyfriend, or I had this done. And, I said, I don't want to hear that. I said, your life for me starts right here. And all the shit that you do after we're together is the shit that matters to me.
So
the only reason was easy for me to give her grace was because of the kind of woman she was.
Okay. So I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
So you don't want to know. Okay.
I didn't want to know. I still don't want to know.
Okay. You still don't want to know. Now you go to a class reunion with your wife.
Okay. Yeah, we've done that.
And after 30 years, whatever, and you walk through the door for the first time with your wife at the class reunion, and a few of the guys in there who used to be star players or the hunks in school the girls wanted to be with.
Right.
And they like,
you married her?
You married? Oh man, you married her? Or you getting something to drink and he say, man, she's still fine, boy. You like, oh, you like that one over there? You like this one? Oh, you married her? Wow. And you see him go over to a group of guys and they all start laughing.
Yeah, Arpain married Cola.
What would you do? Arpain, how would you feel, Arpain? Would you want to know what they're laughing about?
No. But I hear what you're saying. You're giving me all these what if statements. You should answer that shit. You married.
Yeah, I was.
How would you answer that? How would you do? I don't know how
I couldn't.
You would disrupt all that shit just because a couple of assholes said some shit?
No, I'm just saying I don't think I could deal with it because I'll ask her, hey, babe, why them niggas over there laughing and asking me why you married her? Like, what you had going on?
What you had going on?
And what if she's brutally honest? What if she says, well, I was young? And you be like, what that mean? I fucked all three of them.
But that's exactly how they were there. I was young. That's the first thing they would say. I was young.
And I had sex with all three of those men when I was young.
Hey, Arpain, you know what she gonna say? It was just one time at band camp.
Man, you know what, man? This is the number one reason why I'm saying if you give somebody grace, stop digging. If you give somebody grace,
stop while you're ahead. You're gonna hurt your own feelings.
Stop digging, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't ask those questions after 14, 20, 30 years.
That happened to me with an ex before. We was in JCPenney, I think. Some nigga was in there with some shades on, cool, laid back cat. And we were shopping. Me and my ex was shopping. And he looked over. He kept peeking over the damn. What the fuck he looking at? So he looked over. He was like, hey, B. I say, B. I said, oh, your name Brittany. I said, okay, why you calling you a B? Why you got you a nickname? We'll talk about it later. No, hell no. We're gonna talk about it now.
Yes.
I love B because she got that honey.
He was slapping that ass calling her B. You said, hey,
and she said when we was in school, me and him used to mess around. I said, oh God. And now I'm in a store standing in line behind a man whose dick been in your pussy. God,
Oh yeah, at least in her pussy.
that'll fuck
You'd be
you up.
lucky if that was the only place it was.
Right. She'd probably sucked it, fucked it, rolled it back up on the. Oh my God.
That shit's so funny. God,
Listen.
Our friend, what do you do? What do you say? Oh my God. I'm gonna ask Lost. Lost, what would you do?
Listen,
He's standing in front of you in line when they go check out. He turn around and be like, "Hey man, it's good to see you, B. Hey, man.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most guys know not to come to me with that foolishness. If you see me in person, you're not gonna take that chance. You're just not. Because one, I'm observant. You know what I'm saying? Number two, I'm a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
You know, I rough folks up. You know what I'm saying? So most people have respect for me. You know, they all you gonna get is the head bob, and that's about it. It ain't gonna be none of this walking up to me, hollering at my girl, telling me, "Hey, how you doing, Colt?" Me, bruh, you sure you want to do that?
I got one goal. Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, listen, the one thing that every man has to come to grips with is that no matter how long you've been married, if your wife wasn't a virgin, the one person she'll never forget is the guy who busted her open.
That first time.
The first time, she's never going to forget that. No matter, he could be good, it could be a good experience, bad experience. She's never going to forget the first guy who knocked that shit out. I mean, and my thing is, I remember my first girlfriend pretty vivid. You know, so I mean, we got to come to, like I said, I think as most men, I think that when we talk about these issues, the first thing we got to come to grips with, it really, you know, the thing that doesn't bother us as much as our woman has sex with somebody else is if that she embarrasses us in front of people who know and people we respect and admire. I think that's more important than the fact that she's had sex. There's only a few guys I know who are married to a virgin, right? We could almost count them on one hand if the woman was truthful. Mr. Bennett, Anton Daniels, you know, and you know, but how do we even verify that? So let's just take their word for it. But most guys, that's not our experience. And shit, I'm from the old school, man. You know, and a lot of guys weren't marrying no virgins back in my day.
Here's my thing. It's not so much as they've had or been with somebody else. It's the bravado that they lead with, telling us what we should do as men. You know what I mean? When you already have somebody that had their fingers in the package. You know, first of all, you need to check your tone. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to play full price for the freight and shipping, and you right here telling me what I need to do. First of all, you lucky if I even considered you. You know what I'm saying? Second of all, as a matter of fact, I think I changed my mind. I want my money and my time back. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, when you need to pay my bills, get my hair done. But first of all, ma'am, I mistook you for somebody who I was considering. But now you got to go. You know what I'm saying? You need to check your tone with all of that foolishness. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact you ain't about nothing because you still on the market. You know what I'm saying? What's really going on? If you had it going on like you say you had it going on, you know, you wouldn't even be in this situation. But my whole thing is it's the rhetoric that comes behind it for me, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, some of these things are discriminators, man, that eliminate the women, right? I mean, and that's why I always say, and I say this, I got my few sayings for a guy who's going to really take a woman serious and marry her. You're the one who has to be reasonably assured that she chooses you as her number one choice. When women say, well, I'd rather see the man more in love with me than her, than, you know, more in love with me than I'm in him, that's just woman talk. That shit doesn't, you know, we should ignore that right off rip. If your woman ain't coming towards you because she gives you the impression that she wants to be with you under your covering, then you're kind of blowing it. Because if you're walking towards her and you got to pull her and you got to convince her and you got to do all this fucking shit, man. Yeah, that's bullshit. You know? So like I said, man, I wasn't no real great shakes, man. I was like completely flabbergasted that my wife liked me as much as she did. You know, that's why I had some of the young guys. I said, man, do y'all have any girls or ladies out there that just like you? Hell with love and all this shit. Do they like you? You know, I mean, even when I was young, one of the things is you might not have been having sex, but you had one or two girls you knew liked you. They just like to be around you, right? That's different. I'm not even talking about love. Just like this chick likes you. She calls you up or she sees you out. What's going on? What are we doing today? But a lot of guys don't experience that, today. But to me, that's why I was asking some young guys, they were like dumbfounded. I said, you fucking guys, this must be risky. I said, you guys are yelling and screaming at me. I'm an old fart. I said, do you guys have any girls that even just like you? Nothing. Crickets. So I don't know, man.
That's because they up against that programming, man. Think about all the women that have been told that, your usefulness as a man is giving her what she needs. She's not looking to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? She's looking to be, provided for. And that's about the extent of, she's like, I ain't got to like you to take what you got, or waste your time or whatever. So they don't even look at the value of a man, And if you listen to older women, they'll tell on themselves, they'll say the same thing. It's worse with them. Menopause kick in, man. Anything subject to fall out of their mouth. You know what I mean? A few expletives, and then next thing you know, you getting slapped. And then next thing you know, they bust into an eye flash, and now they fighting. All kind of weird stuff. So
I don't know.
What I mean? They ain't never been taught. They never knew that they could actually like a man. Put it to you like that. They've been too busy trying to drain his pockets to even find out if he's worth even being around.
Right, you're right. And now we got the women who got the bull rings in their noses.
Man.
Dr. Tiazon Johnson has this whole point on the bull ring women, what they call the septum ring theory.
Right.
The genesis of that is not just anti-misandry, but misandry against black men.
Right.
And the pedalization of Zaddy, giving him what he wants, the tribal looking bone in the nose black woman and shit. I said, man, there might be some merit to that, shit. Because this that nose ring, I don't give a shit how good you look, it's wholly unattractive and unprofessional.
Well, RP, you know why they do that, don't you? It's because they have low self-esteem. So in order to fit in, they go out and they want to look like everybody else. Right. And you really don't want nobody who's subject to peer pressure, because that's somebody who can bring damnation to your family.
Oh,
you
no
know what
doubt.
I mean? Because they're being subjective to outside pressure, and they'll fall for anything.
Yeah,
and I don't date women with tattoos. I don't date women with any type of extra piercings. No, none of that stuff. They don't qualify, because you fall short to peer pressure. I don't care what my homeboys tell me. I'm not finna do nothing stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, home, if you're gonna do something stupid, that's on you. But I'm not finna do it.
I hear you. So I don't know how we get to into this. See, because every man is different, right? There's a lot of men, the red pill men, who are trapped around body count. I think you always, when we talk with men about body count, we got to peel back the layers, right? Because even these same guys accept women who've had sex before if they can get a woman, so I just think that a lot of women tell on themselves. But then you have to ask yourself, how much do you really want to know? How much do you really, really want to know? Right? Because it's probably more, I shouldn't say, I don't know this, but I would say is, I'd rather have an answer to which, would this woman being on my arm be an embarrassment? How she moves, how she speaks. Is she, like, I wouldn't marry a flirtatious woman. I wouldn't marry a woman who's just overly flirtatious, laughing, ha-ha, and kiki and ha-ha around different guys. I probably would quit. I probably would quit a woman who actually, if we were at a dance, maybe we weren't married or anything, but if she accepted a slow dance from another guy, that's not my girl.
Absolutely.
Just a slow down. I say, okay, you're eliminating yourself. Because if I'm there, the answer should be fucking no.
Yeah, TMZ just caught Rampage Jackson with his fiance. Have you seen the video? The UFC fighter Rampage Jackson.
Oh no, okay. What about him?
His fiance was all up in a dude's face, like his manager or whatever. He got in the pool and he walked over to her and put his finger in her face. He said, "Don't you ever be in a motherfucker face." He said, "I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll leave your fucking ass right here." He said, I'll never be in another nigga face. Do you understand me? And she was like, well, I was just, he said, I don't give a fuck what you was doing. If you want to, if that motherfucker need to know something, you tell me and I'll tell him. He said, but don't ever be in another motherfucker face around me, ever. He said, do you understand?
What she said. Yes. But let me ask you, is it already the fact that she didn't know that she shouldn't do that? Isn't that the red flag?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Right. Isn't that, I mean, so his scolding her only, does that drive that underground or does it correct her behavior?
Drives her underground.
Exactly.
The rampage, I think it drives it home. It's look what this man do for a living, man.
No, what I'm saying is,
man.
I know I hear what you're saying, Lit, but what I'm saying is that she knows not to do it when he's around. But is that changing her real behavior? Because how come she didn't know that shit from the beginning?
Well, that's like if your wife go out and a man offer to buy her a drink.
Right.
No, you tell that motherfucker no. You don't let the motherfucker buy you no drink. That's the gateway into that ass. Don't tell him don't know. Hell no.
Put your philosophy on that one, Lit, because you know what I'm saying? But you know where I'm coming from. The fact that she thought it was cool to do something like that in the first place with her man right there. Right? Because for him, it's not necessarily just her doing that. It's letting that man know that your woman is ready to beat up into, I can have your woman, under analysis and shit, even with your ass around. That's more of the shit that bothered him than her just doing it, I bet.
You know what it is, our pain. Believe it or not, there are a lot of women who don't understand that's a no-no. I'm just being honest, man. I was listening to a friend of mine who had her show. She teach women, wife stuff, getting them ready for, for marriage or whatever. And that was one of the things she was talking about. Don't be around here entertaining dudes like that, man, in front of your husband, because you put him in harm's way, because now he got to check somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Now your whole household in trouble because your husband has to defend your honor because you ain't got sense enough to stay out of somebody else's face kikiing. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, he going to jail and the money funny. And now you going on and, you know what I'm saying, with the kids, and God knows what will happen after that. So, yeah, most women don't understand the etiquette of being around other people like that.
Etiquette is the right word. Like if, you want me to do something like, cut the grass and, maybe I'm procrastinating, I got some other thing. Then I see some nigger out there cutting our lawn. Man, she said, I just wanted to get it done, man. I mean, you know what?
Or you supposed to go in and fix your sink.
Yeah.
And you come in and you see a big old burly nigga under your sink with his shirt off, fixing your sink.
Pipe wrench just all in his hand.
Hey, RP, I came in and see some shit like that. I'll stomp that bitch ass nigga to death. I would. I'll stomp his ass to death. Get out of my house, nigga. Crazy.
That's some funny shit, man.
So I want to play this video. I want to play this video for y'all real quick.
But you're right. A lot of them just don't understand. I mean, either it's willful ignorance or they just don't understand.
They got to be trained up, our pain.
Yeah, they do.
And think about how many older women don't really train younger women.
No. Some of them didn't learn the lesson themselves.
Right. All right, here we go.
When I talk about body count, now I'm 40, about to be 46 years old.
What do that mean?
So when I say body count, like I don't have to tell you who all I had in my past, but I do think I am obligated to tell you
family.
About your friends, your family, your bros. If you part of fraternity and I fucked the Q, I need to tell you, hey, I didn't fuck one of the bros.
Yeah.
It might have been a while, but I think I need to let you know that because I don't want you to go around parading me and be embarrassed.
That's
like right here.
That's embarrassing as fuck.
So I think that's important. So as far as somebody asks me, well, how many men you sleep with, that's none of your damn business.
But why not?
Because it's none of your business.
Why not?
Because that creates an area for you to pass judgment on me when you're not going to be transparent. A lot of men are not transparent with how many.
You ready? How many businesses do you run?
Let me think. 4.
You couldn't wait to say that because you're proud of it. So the only reason why you won't disclose how many men you've been with is because you're not proud of it.
Oh, I didn't call some duds in my past.
Proper conduct does not fear exposure.
Harsh.
Yeah. Go ahead. Lord.
They ain't nothing but bars right there, man. They ain't nothing but bars. But here's my thing. Here's a greater question. If you're not proud of telling me what you did, how come you're not ashamed of what you did if you're not telling me? You know what I'm saying? How come you're not ashamed of what you did? As long as you can get away with it, it's fine. But you know, when it comes to shaming me, then it ain't no problem. You know, it ain't my business at that point. You know, I don't get that. You don't have enough self-respect for yourself. You know, I don't get that.
Well, because she's not ashamed of it. She's not ashamed of it. It's her. She said it herself that it's more important on whether you judge her or not. But she's not ashamed of what she did.
Our pain. If she wasn't ashamed, then she would say what her count is.
No,
right?
no. I mean, maybe it's subtle. Maybe I don't understand. I'm saying she's not ashamed of it. She just don't want you to judge her because she knows you will judge her, whether she's ashamed of it or not. She's not ashamed of it. But she just wants you to look at her the way she wants you to look at her. And she knows, she told her, hey, listen, you know what, I'm 45. I had at least 45 dicks. And you're gonna say you're gonna look at her differently. That's more important to her. She didn't say, well, I'm ashamed of my 45 dicks. I'm just kind of a little upset. Now I know when you look at me through your eyes, you think it's something that I don't want you to think. And that's what she's thinking. But I do give her credit for because if you were around my frat brothers, you mentioned Q's. I wouldn't know when you was fucking the brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? If I had, you got to give me a chance to say, okay, look, I'll give you a pass on that asshole because we used to pass girls around. So, but I don't know. But the fact, so I kind of like that answer. But again, man, when you're around, let me tell you, if I'm 40 years old and the woman I'm with is 45, I'm not so sure I'm so keen on worrying about her body count. What are we doing together now anyway?
Shit.
All right, Payne, let me ask you this, man. What if you go and you buy a car, right? And it's got some wonderful low miles on it or whatever.
It was a car.
Your homeboy tap you on your shoulder one day and say, hey, man, don't buy that Honda. I saw him when he rolled the miles back on it, man. That car got 300-some thousand miles on the engine, transmission about to fall out. And he told you it's only got 40,000 miles on it. Man, come on.
No, but I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
No, okay, let me get you. I don't want you to get me wrong. If that stuff worries me, I wouldn't be talking to a 45-year-old woman who's single. If I really cared about that stuff, because I would assume that she had, she had a plethora of Johnsons. I mean, you can't even. What's her body count? I would start at maybe at least her age, and up. So if I ask her and she says, well, and she was married for a long time, it's one thing. But if she was single to 45 years old, I'm gonna assume she started I would start her count at 45 and up. Can I handle a woman with 45 dicks?
God damn.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So we could be friends, and we could even be, confidants and business partners and all that stuff. But I'm not putting a ring on your finger.
You better say it. All right, Payne, let me ask you this, man. Here's my
some water real quick.
What if she told you it was only two guys? You know what I'm saying? And she sold you on the idea too. How long you been in these YouTube streets? When was the last time? The stock answer is it's been 6 months ago. The last time they was in a relationship is always 2 years ago. It's like they practice that same answer. You know what I'm saying? So now you finna get ready to marry her. You be like, it was 2 years. That's long enough. It's 6 months. That's a little close.
That's why I keep going back to my
time.
I got to keep going back to my default thing. You either have to come to grips with, especially the age thing. If she's 45 years old, there's some things that have to just be a given. And you either have to come to grips with that or not, whether she tells you a number or not, because you have to assume that she's sexually active. The other thing is she said that we keep skipping over. She says, well, I can't ask a man how many. Well, first of all, it's not material how many sexual partners a man have. And women lie about that. They don't give a shit. They want you to be more experienced than anything anyway. So when they start saying that to try to make some equivalency, that's just bullshit. I haven't seen a woman who really cares about a body count of a man. Not at all. Unless if they just don't want to have a fair faith conversation, they don't give a shit about how many women we have.
unless it's that one girl that she don't like.
Yeah.
And then it's a problem.
That's still around.
Yeah, because they know how she used to get down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She's like, she was real friendly with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you slept with her,
Yeah,
you get the doctor player. You know what I'm saying? You say you lived in Atlanta for a little while. You know what I'm saying? So, things going down in Houston and Atlanta now.
That's so funny. You know what, man? I was on this panel. I don't know if it was Precious, a guy I'd never seen before. He came up, and somehow Precious got us into this conversation about how many girls we had and shit like that. And so the guy was saying, he was saying, we were saying some kind of number. And he says, now that I'm saying this number out loud, I feel kind of dirty. He said that shit was funny. He said, he said, I feel kind of dirty saying this number. It's funny as hell. He said he didn't feel guilty or nothing. He says, I feel kind of dirty, man, because now I'm saying it out loud. I just said, that's where the women are coming from, man. If I got to say this shit out loud, then it makes it real.
You better say it. My whole thing is this, man. If what you did you're proud of, then you wouldn't mind letting your kids know you used to do it. You know what I'm saying? And now we're in a whole nother situation. Because think about it, our parents, we was in school and we used to crack on each other. That's why your mama did this and your mama did that. Man, we start talking about your mama jokes. Man, dudes was ready to fight. You know what I'm saying?
People want to fight, man.
Yeah.
People want to fight.
Don't mess around and let none of that stuff be true.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But I don't know if can we actually ever get to the bottom of a body count conversation, because it really depends on the men just in that panel discussion.
Right.
Because every man I know who had a wife, like I said, they had some kind of experience before. And I just think it's incumbent upon the man. Some people asked, some people didn't. Like me, I didn't. Yeah. First of all, my first thing is I wouldn't believe. Listen, I don't know if I could believe a woman who she gave me a number. Even if she said it was 10, do I triple that? Or you know what I'm saying? If she says 5, is it true? I would never know.
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, our pain. The problem is not so much as the number. The problem is that they want you to treat them as if they're virgins and get the value out of that. If you slept with over 10 dudes, at this point, it's 50-50. I ain't paying full price and full freight for used goods. You're going to have to bring something else to the table. Because you asking for virgin prices. You know what I'm saying? You want me to be the protector and the provider and all this other stuff. And you didn't ask these other guys to be the protector and the provider. You know what I'm saying? What I look like, boo-boo the fool?
But what you just said though goes more for you're right, but I would submit to you that if a man asks a woman to marry him and he goes through it, whether he wants to or not, he's just paid full price.
Pretty much.
He just paid full price. So that's my point. So if you're not comfortable with her body count or the way she moves sexually or moved sexually,
right,
then you just don't marry her. If there's going to be a lingering problem with you, I wouldn't marry her. Now, I'd go find somebody else.
Right.
And a lot of guys, it's hard for them to do because a lot of men have scarcity mindset.
Right.
So. And it's really, really that simple. I think a lot of men kind of overlook that. Hey, listen, man, you know what? I'm not going to be comfortable. I like you. I even love you and shit. But, you just have a little bit too much experience for something I can trust. Especially if you're an average guy who maybe only has 1 or 2 bodies or 3 bodies under your belt, and she's walking around with a full clip, she know all the tricks and shit. She's over here teaching you. You know what, man? Hey, John, what you need to do is you got to learn how to last a little bit more. Let me hold this here and put this little wrap around your balls or some shit like. I mean, come on.
That's right, R-Pain.
Shit, man. Golly, where's this chick been?
Oh.
Yeah.
She been to infinity and beyond.
What's going on, Antoine, man? What's going on?
Welcome to the show, Antoine. Speaking of full price, what's happening, man? What's up, Antoine?
Not much, Larry. How's it going on, man? Oh God, that's funny. That's funny because it's wild how some people get so caught up in the body count of their partner or spouse, and sometimes you can't focus too much on it. I mean, I'm looking at my situation. Like this Friday, my wife and I will celebrate 16 years married.
Okay.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thanks. And the one thing the one thing I can honestly say, when my wife and I started dating and everything else, she never gave me a body count, and I never asked. I didn't really care because I knew if I got too caught up and too wrapped up in it, it was going to be like, can I trust her, or is it going to be a blow to my ego? She told me some things that she did when she was younger. This is long before we even met. So she has a past, I have a past. And sometimes it's best to just leave it alone. Because the last thing you want to do, if you already have something good going for such a long time, the last thing you want to do is reach far back from something that happened 30 years ago before you guys even met, and you bring it into the situation, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. So I've never asked my wife about her body count. She never asked about my body count. So we just it's one of those. She had a pass, I got a pass. But right now, this is our present, and we know what our future is going to be. We're going to focus on that.
Well, Antoine, put it to like this, man. We dealing with people who lie for a living. You know what I'm saying? Pay full price for an image when all the good parts I like and them come in a bag. You know what I'm saying? We can't put a wig on our problems. You know what I'm saying? We can't put lashes on our problems. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Be like, yeah. I know I got a pass, putting the wig on. You know what I'm saying? I was hanging around your friends, put the lashes on. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, put the makeup on. They got the whole body kit, BBL kitted out. Now you fell in love with this imaginary thing, but yet they want you to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Come on.
That's another thing. One of the things I think men need to stop letting women gaslight us about. Right. Like when the first time a woman says, "Man, my body count shouldn't matter," but I said, "But you're not a man. I don't care if it matters. As a matter of fact, the fact that it doesn't matter to you is a red flag."
Right.
Right. I mean, but even if it didn't matter to you, it matters to me. If you want to be with me, and I'm walking through a gauntlet of guys who you were sucking their dick. You know, I have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? I would have an issue with that. And if you can't understand that, then we can't be together. You know, so it doesn't matter how many guys you've been with to you, but to me, it matters. And I try to explain that to the women, you know, say, listen, I'm not judging you from the standpoint that you're not a good person or a friend. But if you're going to be on my arm, I don't want you to have, you know, shit, I don't want you to be guys walking around saying, "This is Sparta." Yeah. You know, I want you fuck out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Man.
That's right.
That's me. You know, it's really good the way I think I like the way I think about this shit. You know, I mean, I know everybody has their own philosophy, but I just kind of, you know, because I'm kind of cool with it. Because like I said, I know women have sex before, and I feel, you know, for me, I just say, listen, you know, you got to be like I've been married for a long time, and my wife is bonded to me, right? And that's important because those hormones, they can be broken and worn out with too much dick. Like a porn star will have a hard time bonding with any man, right? It's not that she can't like a guy. But the triggers that make her a sex addict don't go away. Right? Somebody actually married Riley Reid, but he lost his whole family in the process because all of his peers just lost complete respect for him. Now, some of you guys might not know Riley Reid, but Riley Reid was one of the most prolific porn actresses in the history of porn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and she actually got married, had a baby, and all that stuff. And the guy who married her, he lost everything. Respect for from his parents, his brothers, his cousins, everybody.
You know what, R-Pain? That's a good point. I don't think what people think about when they think about body count, I'm thinking about mentality as well. If we have little girls, what is the mother going to teach the daughter? That's my main concern. Because you open up your whole entire family tree to some foolishness because your wife don't know how to, you know, keep her legs closed. You know, she don't tell your daughter it's okay, you know, to sleep with a couple guys, and next thing you know, she pregnant. And now they got to move back into your house with you and the baby, and now you can't get none because, you know, the baby up all type of night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
I honestly, I think what it is, and I think I've noticed this also, especially within the last couple of years. It seems like we all remember a time when our parents would sit us down and would talk to us about this type of stuff, about getting it in, using protection and everything else. And then there was always that advice that we got from our dad about making sure you wear the condom, making sure that you do everything correctly because you don't want to get a girl pregnant. And then even the mom would tell you some things as well. And as much as you may feel embarrassed, she was telling you things from a female perspective that you needed to know. And I've always said this on this panel, there's no balance with a lot of people now. Everyone's getting everything from one perspective, from one parent, and they're not getting the other things from the other parent for whatever reason. And that's how it makes it possible for some individuals to make these smart decisions. When you got too many, especially like you said, when you got a lot of these young women out here and all they're hearing about these things are from the mother's perspective and never from the father's perspective, what do you think is going to happen?
He better be the old man.
Exactly.
You better listen to the old man.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, and I noticed it before because there were times when I got nieces that are teenagers, and I remember being that one adult talking to them about these things, the importance of protecting themselves, the importance of making sure if you want to be with a guy, make sure he's wearing a condom. If he doesn't want to put on a condom or give you some type of an excuse of why he doesn't like wearing them, find a way to have a little fun, or you stop and then call it a day. And I even told my nephews the same thing. If you're with a girl and she says you don't have to wear that, end of discussion, call it a day. Because if you're not ready to become a parent, don't put yourself in that type of situation.
You know what? Yes, you think what's success rate with the dudes you think you had with them when the woman say, you know what, you don't want to put that on. Give me a percentage. Most of the guys, they going right in, man. You know, I'm serious. This, you know, I'm kind of half joking, but I mean, you know, but it's true. It's good advice to just say to everybody. But just here's the thing I want to hit really. This notion that it's the men who want to go raw. Okay, yeah, we want to go raw. But the reason why so much raw dogging has happened is absolutely 100% because of the women.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Listen, you know, when women gaslight men, they do a good job of it, right? Because the women understand that they have the right of first refusal. This shit's true in every courtroom, at every level in the law. So it's true in the bedroom. If a woman doesn't want you to wear a condom, or she wants you to wear a condom, you are not having sex that day if you don't have one.
Exactly.
Or else you're committing a crime. And most men, and I argue with women this up, most men are not criminals. I don't listen. I've had my share of sex. I have never come even close to taking some box from a woman who didn't want to give it to me. Not even close. Not even a hint. Not even close. I mean, did I try to coerce? Did I do a couple of just a tip in? Just can I put just a tip in? Yeah, everybody can I put the tip in? Everybody's done that, right?
Let me get a little feel.
Every man's done
Let me get a little feel.
Yeah, she still has to say yes to that. So women, the whole thing about raw dogging is, men should be responsible enough to say no, but that's just bullshit. If a woman says, listen, where you going with that condom? A guy's, 90% of the men are still going in.
Yeah, it's hard to say no. I'll be honest. You're right. It is hard to say no.
Man, let me tell you something. This is the reason why you need two parents. When we was little, man, my mom sat us down, told us about the birds and the bees. Right. And this is how babies are made. I think we were probably about 9, maybe 10 years old or whatever. Yeah. Shoot, man, that was the conversation I had with my mom. They were talking about pulling the chair open for the lady and open the door. Man, let me tell you something. My daddy told me, look here, son. He said, raw feel good. I don't know what to tell you.
You hear what I said?
He said, don't bring no babies in my house.
Especially back then, man, a rubber was like you put a plastic tube around your Johnson. It was shit, man. You might as well have like a goddamn test tube around your Johnson.
I'm trying to tell you, man. That was the most realest thing I've ever heard in my life, man.
That's funny.
Look, man, I don't
know. Ziploc bag if you have to.
Look here, don't bring no babies in the house, man. Because here's the thing, after you didn't live with your daddy all your life, when he say what he mean what he say.
Exactly.
Don't be messing up his groove with no foolishness. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think. Here's my whole thing. I don't think, man, we really prepare, our children for what to expect. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell you something, man. Sex is powerful.
Yeah.
It'll make you lose your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You'll lose all type of reasoning for it. Let me tell you why it's powerful. It's powerful because we're supposed to procreate and continue on the legacy of life on this earth. That's the reason why it feels good. So you can keep doing it. But my thing is this, if you do it with the wrong person, it could ruin your life and it could ruin society. So look at it this way. You have a great responsibility. You know what I'm saying? That you have to take care of. We don't have them conversations with our kids, man.
Exactly. I remember telling this to one of my nieces. She's 22 now. And I think she was around 14, 15 years old when I had this talk with her. And she never really had those serious talks with her parents. And I was shocked that they didn't. And I told her, you have to understand, you have a lot of power in between your legs. Guys will do everything possible, not to get a taste, not to get a touch, not just to feel it, just for a peek. Dudes would do the dumbest, most outrageous things if they get a chance to just get a quick look. So understand what you have in between your legs and everything else. When I tell you dudes will do the dumbest things you never thought they would do, they will do the dumbest things just to get a peek. You don't have to offer it. Just for them to peek it, they'll do some stupid stuff. And she thought I was kidding at first. She really thought I was kidding. And then sometime later, she was like, you were right. And I said, you have to remember, I was a teenage boy too at one point. The only difference between teenagers now and teenagers when I was that age is we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media. That was the thing.
And all you had was squiggly TV on the skinny back.
Scramble boy.
Yeah, a lot of you guys don't remember test patterns. I remember the test patterns, man. The test patterns used to come right. But yeah, it's just like it's just weird. Men take the brunt when it comes to sexual activity. The laws are skewed towards trying to say that the reason why women give sex to men is because we coerce them out of it. If you really think about it, it's not like,
if we're being honest, the real reason is why they know they can't get no money out of the women because they broke.
Did you hear what I said?
That might be that could be the underlying thing, but I just
that's exactly what it is. Why we want to sugarcoat that thing, man?
Well, no, I mean, it's not, well, you might be right. I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying is that no, I just think that that's true, but more than one thing could be true at the same time. I think society understands that men are, whether we are the physical, mental leaders, is that you could extract the things you need to extract out of men, whether women have money or not, right? Because men have, at one, like when a lady says, well, it takes two to have a baby, right? And so you need to be responsible. Well, hey, Chica, if I'm the father of the kid, not only am I responsible, the state won't let me forget it under threat of jail, right? So what are you saying? So don't give me none of this bullshit that men are irresponsible. If he's on the books and he's got a job, and you put him on child support, you don't have to, but you do. He's not going anywhere. He might not love you. He might not be around, but you certainly extracting his resources under threat of jail, and that's the state being your big brother. So it's not like men are irresponsible who are on the books, and so most men are on the books, right? We got the Pookies and the Ray Rays who are like, they got 20 kids. They can't extract blood out of a stone. Right, they ain't paying like $50, $100, $500 worth of child support for 17 kids, where they only make $300 a week.
Yep.
So so those are the outliers. But I'm just saying, men have always been responsible. I mean, I just seen a panel. I'm gonna end it here, where the ladies were saying some horse shit about men, and I'm saying, how it was, what's that guy's name from the Pivot podcast? That the pompous asshole, the sports dude. Man, he played Ryan, whatever his last name is.
Ryan Clark.
Yeah, Ryan Clark. He was saying how barbaric men are, because he was talking about the Sha'Carri Richardson. He says men are the real dangerous men. I said,
Sha'Carri Richardson Tatum.
So he was trying to make a point that it's a double standard that she got off lighter than a man would if he would have hit her. Well, it's a different standard.
It's the truth.
Well, but it's not. Well, it's not really a double standard. We get measured by different standards, which is okay with me. Well, we do get. I mean, she still got in trouble.
She whooped a man's
ass. But she's not going to get as much trouble as he would have.
And she didn't lose any endorsements. But the real point I'm saying is he followed up by saying how terrible men have been to women. And I said, listen, the men in the West have made being a woman in the West the safest place on the entire globe for women to be. There's no other country where a woman is more safe than they are right in the West. That doesn't mean there's no bad men out there. So we need to stop as men saying how savage we are to women. That's bullshit. This savage guy, we can't make it a 0%. So when I hear a man say how bad we are to women, I can't stand to hear that shit, man. I think we treat women better than anybody treats women anywhere. I mean, the average rank and file guy. Right, the average guy, the laws we pass, the way women are treated and elevated in society in the West is more than anywhere else. And they've proven unworthy of the position. Everywhere where there's a liberal woman in charge, the place is fucked up. Every single place where there's a liberal woman in charge, the place is fucked up. And I got a whole list of women. I could prove it, but I'm not gonna do it now. But so I'm just saying, and we just tolerate it, man. I'm with Pearly. I'm with just Pearly things. We gotta repeal the 19th Amendment.
Why you saying?
We gotta repeal that.
Man, our pain, it's a double standard. It don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Sha'Carri Richardson whoops some man's ass and she gets an endorsement. Do you know how many endorsements they would be in jail if this thing was over?
Well, man, he wouldn't have no endorsements.
You'll have guys all in jail with Nike contracts, you know what I'm saying? NIL deals for whooping ass.
He would lose everything, man.
I mean,
man.
Yeah, I mean, perfect example about the double standard. everybody remembers the situation that happened with Ray Rice. And then you had a situation. Say again?
Whooped his woman's ass in a doggone elevator.
He knocked her ass out. What's double standard there?
But then, but here's the thing.
Nike calls him Ray Rice, but like, hey, look, man, I saw you work on the TV, man. It was good work. Look here, I was going to
but I remember, I remember right around that same time. Hold on, I remember at the same time when the thing with Ray Rice, you had Hope Solo, who was the goalkeeper for the women's national team in soccer. Right. She got caught in a situation of the same situation, and she didn't get as much.
She knocked somebody out.
Vitriol. Say again.
She knocked somebody out.
Not really, no.
She knocked a woman out. I mean, we saw the guy knock her out, pick her up like a beanbag, and was trying to line her up for another hit. What are you talking about, man? Man, he hit that when she was on the ground, he kicked her to see if she would move. I mean, stop getting sick. Come on, man. He got everything he deserved. I remember he coming out, he said, "Oh shit, is she out?" And he used his foot to see if she's still moving. That's it. God damn.
The thing that got me was when people were trying to understand, well, why did he get 2 games for what he did? Here's the thing. I think the NFL was going to give him a little bit longer. They probably were going to give him maybe like 6 or 8 games. Who knows? But because he acknowledged his mistake and his wife at the time also acknowledged what happened, and I think they felt like, well, you know what? The fact that he manned up and said something, she's still with him. We're not gonna drop this. We're not gonna drop this anvil on him. We're gonna just give him 2 games, and then that's it. And then that's when the video came out, and I think that's what caused the uproar. After that, was no one saw the video until after they found out how many games he was gonna get suspended for. Then that's when people went. That's when everyone started going crazy and were like, "Oh, he didn't deserve 2 games for this." But here's the thing: he's probably going to get a lot more games before this video came out. But the fact that he and his wife were in the office, acknowledged what happened, took responsibility for what they did, then the league saw it as, we'll give them 2 games because at least they acknowledged what they did was wrong, so on and so forth. And then that's when the video came out, and then that's when everyone was all in an uproar.
Yeah, but Antoine, right? Video evidence is the reason why the video was so impactful, right? Because without it, everything was just a conversation. But when you actually see what happens, it really counts. Like even with Diddy, right? They had him and they wanted to put him in jail for a whole bunch of shit. But the only thing they focused on was hitting Cassie in the goddamn hallway.
And that wasn't even on trial.
And so they were just, first of all, the judge should have never let that in because it was purposely trying to be to impact the jury on everything else. Even if he's not guilty, he beat up a woman like this, so he's got to go away. And I thought that was unfair, So the point really is, you're right. That video should have made a difference. It should have made a difference.
They should have charged him with domestic violence. That's what they should have charged him with, and it probably would have stuck. But since they wanted to stick it to him, like they love to try to do, let's hit him with the Mann Act. I mean, Diddy was like, "Look here, man, I ain't even buy them bitches."
A friend of mine actually covered that. A friend of mine actually covered that case. A friend of mine I graduated from high school with actually covered that case, and he mentioned the Mann Act while they were going through the process. Right before the trial even started. And that was the only thing they had enough to get Diddy on was violation of the Mann Act. Because you can't go.
Even that's a weak case.
But they were looking for something, and that was the one thing they knew that was going to stick was the Mann Act. So they threw that on him. I'm
gonna tell you why they didn't stick him with that. It's because if they stick Diddy with the Mann Act, everybody. Do you know how many other men will get thrown in jail? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got people like Hugh Hefner used to fly in chicks all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
For the explicit purpose.
Yeah, Hugh Hefner, Larry Flint.
Come on, man. There'd be a whole lot of people.
I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying it was right, but that was the one argument they wanted to use the stick just to say that they got him on something. That's what it was.
Listen, the guy, the point was, if being the devil and evil incarnate was a crime on the books, then he would go to jail for life. But it's not a crime on the books. It's not. He'll have the ultimate judge is going to get him later on, but it's not a man-made. It's not a man-made thing. The guy's just the devil, and women, and he made people sign up, both men and women, to sell their soul to him. And just like in every movie we've seen, when you sell your soul to the devil, the bargain that you think you struck ain't what you struck. You know what I'm saying? You're paying a whole lot more than what you think. Well, I thought I got a discount. No, not really. You know what I'm saying? Not really.
Devil be like, look here, man. You be like, look here, man. Devil, you gonna give me what I asked for. The devil gonna tell you.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You're not getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're not giving you nothing.
Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, the one and the only Mr. Prototype in the building. Yes, sir. What's up, brother?
Man, just trying to live the dream the best way I can.
Man, I see you living the dream, man. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
Man, what y'all over here talking about?
We just yapping, man. You know how we do it, man.
the title had me all sucked in. Like, what is these guys talking about?
Yeah, man. We try to avoid paying full price, man. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, man?
Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
That's what I'm talking. What you think about the topic, man? We had just chopping it up, man.
I mean,
does the body count matter for real?
Yeah, it matters. It matters based on what you're trying to do with something. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't buy a car with more than one owner. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to buy a house unless I'm the first one living in it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you, man.
So it's the same concept. Like, it's a flex to say you're the only one that's lived in this house. It's a flex to say I'm the only owner. I'm the first owner of this vehicle. I'm not saying you're going to be the first, but you understand what I'm saying? You want that thing that has some low mileage on it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't mind if your car had a lease on it. At least if it had a lease, a lease user, you know what I'm saying? There was some rules and regulations on that thing. You know what I'm saying? When nobody was just driving it all crazy, the mileage was limited on what you could do with that thing. And you was forced to get the oil change. You was forced to take care of it. You know what I'm saying? So, if it was something gently used, you know what I'm saying, you might be working with something, but don't nobody want no rental car, for a complete buy. So what
I like that. Listen, I like that house analogy, man. Think about it, man. You know how many overinflated houses we got on the market, man? You know what I'm saying? Because if you get a brand new house, everything's sealed, it's tight, it's top of the line technology. Then you got these people to get these old fixer-uppers, and then they want to charge you like $500,000 for this old raggedy house with wrap portals. And they want you to
get rid of that money trap. Your headache now.
For a newer house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's not the same. And I think that's what we do sometimes when we settle, man. As men, it's like, hey, look, I really appreciate you, your time or whatever, but I'm trying to build something that's new. And you got some leftover parts or whatever. And then you talk back, I ain't really trying to hear all that. And you run out the mouth talking about 50-50.
I mean, but a lot of men settle. A lot of men settle because they homeless. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're homeless, what you're gonna take whatever if you're homeless.
Homeless and hungry too, obviously.
There's a lot of people that's homeless and hungry, man. Like, to my enlightenment, a lot of people ain't doing so hot. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It just is what it is.
Don't pretend that you're doing hot. You know what I'm saying? Don't be charging me hot prices. You know what I'm saying? You got rent in your house. Come on, man. Let's keep it real with me. Let me know where the holes at where I can plug them,
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Let you know where the hose is at or the holes.
Hey, you decide. But yeah, man, my whole thing is this, man. Don't just come clean, man. Just tell me what it is, because I'm pretty sure if it was something jammed up about me, you want to know too.
Transparency don't work for women though. You know what
Why
I'm
do you
saying?
think that? Go ahead, talk to us. Elaborate.
Well, it doesn't work out for their benefit to be transparent with you. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to keep their past the past, and to them they seem to act like they don't understand why it might be an issue for us. You know what I'm saying? If we heard like they had a good, to them it's a good time, but if we had, we heard like, oh, you had a train ran on you, or you had this, or you had that, because they don't necessarily care about that, because they expect their guy to come a little bit more
complete.
Not only complete, but with wisdom. And you know what I'm saying? And you only get wisdom with practice. You understand? And they understand being good takes practice. You understand what I'm saying?
A lot of practice.
I don't think wisdom would be the answer. It'd be, I think, acceptance.
Well, wisdom is applied knowledge. So wisdom.
Yeah, but you could be wise, but you don't accept the fact that your woman was slutting it out.
No, they want you to be wise, and they hold the mirror.
They're projecting. They're projecting that. They're projecting.
Yeah, they want you to be wise, and they think that you also want somebody just as wise as they would want somebody.
I know. I know.
Jedi mind trick right there.
Women do project all that shit. They want you to think like them, essentially. They do that in a lot of stuff. Their sex.
I mean, we want them to think like us too.
No, that's not true. No, I don't.
That is true. We don't understand why they not. It is true, because like our level of integrity, our level of understanding, like we think it's common sense, and when they doing stuff, we're like, this is common sense not to do that. And when they're acting dumbfounded about a situation, you're like, well, why don't you know this?
Well,
we're not aware of it.
I'm not gonna. You have a point. I think we've established the fact that women think more on feelings and men on logic. I don't really expect women to think like us. And maybe that's a little bit of my wisdom. Now, I'm not always been like this, but I really not so. I'm more surprised when I find a woman logical to think like the way we do than the other way around. I think we always fill in the gap for them.
That's you per se.
That's me.
I'm talking about us as a whole.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've conceded. That's why I've conceded. That I hear you. I'm thinking. So if I could tell any of you guys out there, that's not a good assumption that women think like us.
Can I be honest with you, man?
What?
The reason why they don't want us to know is because they know we would hold that over their head the minute they get out of line. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, you need to take out the trash and you need to wash the dishes. I'd be like, okay, look, I think I can. The little train that could, you know what I'm saying? You know, and they'd be like, nah, I ain't gonna tell you nothing. You know what I mean? That type of thing. You're gonna use that against me, you know. That's what it is. They won't get the leverage that they need to get you to do what you gotta do. You know? That's why they don't tell.
Yeah, I'm not hard over on a position, but
So how could we end the body count conversation?
Yeah, same question I asked. I don't know if we can.
I see the title. How could we end it?
I will tell you this: don't ask me to do something that you wouldn't want to do yourself. Exactly. You know, if you want me to be honest, you be honest with me. You know what I mean? That type of thing. If you want me to be fair dealings with you, be fair with me. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. And I think if you have people who have accountability on both sides of the aisle, I think all the other stuff is water under the bridge, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to trick me, you know, into thinking that I'm wrong when you're doing the exact same thing and then telling me, you know, I'm crazy. Don't do that. You know, deal with me honest and then we'll be all right. That's how
that sounds like a great ass, but people are not going to comply.
When you pull that stringlet, you know what they're saying. If you're asking a woman to be honest with you, then you're asking her to take the consequences of her telling you the truth, right?
Well, don't they want us to tell them the truth, RP?
No. Hold on, I'm with you. I'm with you. But what we are saying, what you just said, is really saying to a woman, tell this man the truth, and knowing that you're going to be judged, and hope he's still going to be there after you tell him. Well, right. So when they make this calculation in their head, it's going to depend on what kind of man she has in front of her, right? Because she's giving that sex away to all kinds of assholes, and now she's looking at the man that shit, man. I want to settle down with this guy because he's got the prerequisites I think I can use. And so, if I tell him all of this, is he going to be the same, right? Is he gonna look at me and then pull away? So they got to wrestle with that. Women have to wrestle with that answer, and it's not an easy one. It might be easier for us because women don't ask us, "Well, how many girls you been?" Man, I banged out 100 of them. She'll look at you and say, "Okay, you'll do. You know, at least you know your way around in bed."
Or paying,
right? That's what she'll say. So I'm just saying, it's not an easy ask. It's just not an easy ask when we ask women that. It's just not. Go ahead, Rotai.
I wanted you to confirm and not deny that you got 100 bodies.
No, I don't have 100 bodies. I don't have. No, I just use that as a number.
Well, let me ask you this, man.
I when I think about my body, all I can say is I didn't do that bad. For a non-Casanova guy, I don't think I did that bad in men language.
What's not that bad? What's not that bad?
I don't want to feel dirty. I don't want to feel dirty.
More than 10, maybe?
I don't
like I did all right now. Leave me alone now.
I don't want to feel dirty.
Which digit number we talking about? Is it 30, 40, 50?
It only has 2 digits. It only has 2 digits.
You know what? I just thought about it, man. When we make it comfortable for our women to tell us lies, I think we actually setting ourselves up a disservice. You know what I mean? Because we're teaching them in life there are no consequences, and us men, we already know there's no such thing as going through life without consequences. You know, we paint this picture that's not a true assessment in life, and I think we do them a disservice when we allow them to get away with it. Think about it. You'll have women who have 3 and 4 different kids with 4 or 5 different baby daddies, and they think that's okay. You know, that's the main reason why we have all this foolishness with the government, because the government was like, it's okay for you to have all these kids. We'll take care and we'll give you food stamps. You know, we'll give you some housing or whatever. You ain't really got to do no work. And then next thing you know, you get somebody like Trump come through and be like, hey man, we got to cut the strings. And next thing you know, they're in a situation they hadn't prepared for, because their whole life men have been lying to them and women have been lying to them. So now we leave them willfully unprepared. So my whole thing is, what do they gain from avoiding consequences? Because like that dude said on Doctor Strange, what he said, the bill comes due. At some point, the bill comes due.
You're saying pressure the women to tell you the truth. Pressure.
It shouldn't have to be pressure or pain.
I get what you're saying, because
I think make it comfortable for them to be able to tell the truth.
Yeah, but that is
true. But the real mess up. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just say the word is, you use the word should, but that's not the reality of it, though.
Let me ask you this: what's reality, man? For them thinking that they can have 4 or 5 kids and thinking they can have a high value man, you know, the man that everybody said they want.
Well, they could think that, but they're not going to get that based on the man, right? I mean, it's up to the man.
They don't know that. You know, their girlfriend's been telling them they can do it. It's in her mind she can do it.
Well,
her mama's been telling her she can do it. Her daddy been lying to her, telling her she can do it.
We're in agreement. I'm just saying, how do you solve that delusion?
You know, I made a statement earlier. I think you're in the chat, Loss, that I made what I said about what men give women and what women give men.
Right.
I don't think they necessarily care or need us. You know what I'm saying? So outside of financial gain. So that's why they put the price tag on their actions. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't need us. We're the ones who actually need them.
Well, if we're being honest, let's look at it this way. I think a lot of times women get lied to all the time, man. And they set up a failure. I'll give you an example. I was watching Mr. Michon talk about what another friend of mine, Millie, was on there talking about how dangerous it was at work for Black women. And they're getting laid off from jobs or whatever. And then Black women are saying, well, it's DEI. They're trying to get rid of us, da-da-da. But the end of the day is that, A, your job was already unnecessary to begin with. B, it just used you for a spot filler. C, when you at work, you're unpleasant. You know what I'm saying? D, can nobody work with you? And that's the main reason why they picked you to let you go when they had to trim the fat. But you know what? That's not something that's palatable for people to hear because it's too damn real. What they would say is that, we're having budget cuts and we're just letting some people go. It just so happens to be 300, 600 some odd black women, you know what I'm saying, working for the government. I find it strange that the black guys didn't get let go from their government jobs. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else is just like, they just decided, hey, we're going to let this group of people go. Well, guess what? It's not just the government that's doing it or whatever. It's everybody else. So if we have been telling them as men, you are unpleasant, so to be around because you're always nagging, you're always saying this, that, and the other, being rude. Well, guess what happens, man? In this environment, when people ain't putting up with that stuff and purse strings have to get tight, guess who's going to be the first one to go? It's going to be them. And you know why they're in the position they is? Because we haven't trained them to tell them the truth that you're unpleasant, you're unruly. Nobody likes to be around you because you add no value to the table. So when the job market hits them up across the face and then reality sits in, now they're knocking on your door talking about, hey, big head, you know what I'm saying? Let me in, you know what I'm saying? It's been a long time. That's because reality has really showed up. So my thing is this, we're not preparing them by lying to them. I know it don't sound good. It probably ain't gonna get you no box in the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But what it does, it prepares them for later on for when times like this happen so they can actually add value, so they can be pleasant and be of assistance to other folks in the world instead of being annoying, which is exactly the reason why they left them, if we're being totally honest.
You definitely not getting no box by telling the truth. I'm gonna say that right now.
Exactly.
You know what it is?
Somebody had to say it, man.
No. You got a point. But I think what it is also, and I remember saying this on a panel some time ago, I think I posted it in the chat. The problem with some of these women is they expect zero accountability for their foolishness and their nonsense. They feel like they shouldn't be held accountable for a lot of the nonsense that they have done, but they don't have a problem holding us accountable for any small thing we do wrong. And that's been the issue for a long time.
You know what? Prototype, you said something that women don't need us. I agree until they do. Women don't need men until they do, right? And the fact, when I say it that way, what I really mean is, and I had some experiments I did with some of the female cousins and women in general, even my wife. Women, if they don't find some kind of use in a man, they absolutely don't want to have anything to do with you. So when a woman has a rotation of men in her orbit, every single one of those guys she extracts something from every man in her orbit. Now, I'm not talking about sex. There might be a couple of guys who are getting that. This guy knows how to fix this. This guy knows how to mow that. This guy has some. Women extract whatever they can from a man. They just do. And if they can't find usefulness in you to them, then you're invisible to them. That's I think I could stretch this shit out for truth, and really do some research on it. So you're right. Women don't need us until they actually do. And it turns out that there's some form of what a man can give them that they always need. But it might not be from the man that's in front of them. So all I'm just trying to say, so part of that is true. That's why they can get away with the shit they say. As far as men telling women the truth, I think there's a lot of men who tell them the truth. They just ain't listening. Right? There's a lot of men. We say, well, listen, the jobs that you have in the government are low-hanging fruit. They're HR. They have the fucking title on the door says DEI. You got a president that's getting rid of the whole departments. The men who work for the government, some are in those things, but they might be in the engineers in crucial parts of the government. That's why they're not getting laid off. So I'm just saying, so those are the kind of things that I think women, if we don't tell them, that's the blind spot. They go to school for bullshit degrees that they're not working in and get low-hanging fruit jobs that are the first to get eliminated. You know, so even the 300,000 black women that got laid off, out of the totality of all the people who got laid off, there was I don't even want to say, but it was a lot of white people who got laid off too.
Of course.
You know, so I'm just saying, so I just think that, you know, a lot of stuff that they do is not because they ain't being told. The powers that pull them are stronger than men telling them, you know, you're fucked up. Because they dismiss you as red pill content, as black pill. They dismiss men telling them the truth as just regular men being misandrous and shit like that. So they could ignore you. Yeah, and so they're not listening until it's too late.
You know what? Kevin Samuels did a show, man, called Winter is Coming.
Right.
I suggest you, if you hadn't seen that, go back and watch that.
I saw a lot of Kevin Samuels.
These women laughed at him. They called him all type of gay. He didn't know who he was talking about. He was sassy. That was when chicks was getting dates. Fast forward 2-3 years later, ain't nobody taking them out no date. They asking for all the men. They around here gaslighting guys, telling them, I know you guys lonely over there and all this other stuff. And guys will be like, you know what? It really ain't worth it. You know, now they on the OnlyFans and all this other stuff. And it's like, baby, the price has fallen. It ain't what it used to be no more. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you used to get that 20 in the front and the 40 in the back. They don't even want to pay that no more. Now it's just like, baby, it ain't worth my time. You know, I honestly don't think. You know, you're unpleasant. You know, you ain't really keeping up with yourself like you used to. I think I'm gonna pass. You know, you got to find a babysitter. We can't really go nowhere. You know, your baby daddy like to fight folks.
And you want me to pay for the babysitter.
Yeah, you want me to pay for the babysitter, and then you want me to take you out. You want me to pay all your bills and little them little school clothes. No, I'd rather stay at home and play GTA 5.
Yeah, exactly.
I can hit the reset button and start over.
We need men to tell me, listen, you know what? I'd love to have a soft pillow. What call it? But you know what? If I rub one out, man, I have at least 20, 30 minutes, a couple of hours of relief. With no, so why not dinner for a $500 dinner for you with your guests, and maybe I might get some.
Yo, oh my God.
Man. Back in the day, if a woman wanted to get a man, what did she have to do? She made an apple damn pie. You know what I'm saying? Man, they will cook for you. Now, think about that old wisdom to get to a man's heart is through his stomach. At least you can get a pie to bro. Now you can't get nothing. You can't get nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You don't get nothing but an attitude and a bill. You know what I'm saying?
so I do want to ask Kurt a type of question now, man. So listen, I want to ask you a real question because I know your mind works. With the theory that I posited just a little bit ago about that women don't need men until they do, and then the men that's in their orbit, they find something to extract, or else he ain't in the orbit. I want you don't have to answer now, but I want you to tell me what you think about that.
So when I say women don't need men, it's like it's the relationship with like being in a sexual relationship with a man unless there's some financial gain. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll friend zone a bunch of men, you know, and keep that carrot dangling in front of them as if they're
just stay in the friend zone. Forget about sex. The guys in the friend zone, right? I can guarantee you they serve some purpose to that woman, or else they wouldn't even be in the friend zone.
Agreed. And that's the hey, I need somebody to help me move. I need somebody
exactly.
That's I need, but so if they have money though, then no, they're fine with hiring movers. So for the women with money, that completely to them eliminates a need for a man entirely. That's why like when they make a little bit of money, either they want to keep all their bread or their standard is so high that it'll never be reached by any man. And they're
honestly, I think the only person that probably can reach those standards is the son of God, and they'll still find a reason to say he's not good enough.
No, there's a guy, you know what I'm saying? But if it's not their perfect guy, you know what I'm saying?
I
Or
don't disagree with what you just said.
if it's not their perfect guy, then you know what I'm saying?
Well,
It
the
doesn't
pool
mean
is
much.
for high value women. The pool is small. The point really is, if there's a guy who's actually still single at those levels that make 300 grand, the kind of high level, the few high level women there
But
are.
there's really
No,
not that many guys up like
I
that. You know what
was.
I'm saying? But
That's what I'm saying.
they're
That's what.
okay with being single because they have their
Well,
women's community
hold on
group,
for a
they have
second.
their dogs that they can
Well,
get.
let me finish. Let me just say this because I agree with you. What I'm saying is, if there actually is a guy there who's reached those levels, he's not going to take her bullshit. So that's another reason why she doesn't want him, because she still wants to be in charge. So if you reach those levels as a man, you ain't. I don't care how much money she makes. You're not going to let her like run you because she's rich.
But that's why she gets a dog. Because she can
No,
run
I
the dog.
we don't
Few dogs.
We don't agree. We don't agree.
She'll get her a cane corso. If she likes
And
big
she'll
guys,
get
her a
IVF
cane
to have her
corso.
own baby and raise a kid by herself. Right. So yeah, that's true. But it's not that many of those women. They just perpetuate that shit out throughout the diaspora of women who could never reach that level. So that's what poisons the pool. How many women are going to be like Ebony K. Williams? Very, very few.
And she still ain't no delight to be around. That's why she had to freeze her eggs. Think about how awful you have to be to have the thing that all guys want, and nobody wants you.
Nobody wants you.
Come on, man.
It almost goes back to what Trey said some time ago. Women have an expiration date. I remember he mentioned that. I think it was Friday. He said that.
He says that a lot.
I gotta ask the
Trey says that a lot.
I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, man, that's come from people lying to them, man. And they believe in it and reinforcing it. You got these girlfriends around reinforcing it. Then you got simps around reinforcing it. Then next thing you know, the simps ain't around no more because they done found a girlfriend and their other girlfriends and got them a little dude. And now they're sitting at home with 3 cats and a dog. You know what I'm saying?
The
And
Ellis Ross syndrome. Tracy Ellis Ross is the new one front and center.
Yeah.
I don't care how much she tries to cap, man. She's as unhappy as a woman can possibly be.
Yeah. She was there rubbing wood on her hips to keep her booty in the air.
Yeah. They said she did some exfoliation shit on the private. I didn't watch it, but
I watched it. She rubbing that wood on her leg. You know what I'm saying?
I remember telling some women that in situations like that, you got to have some realistic expectations, like Prototype said. And the problem is, they think when you tell them to have realistic expectations, they think you're telling them to lower it. I'm like, no, I said you have to have realistic expectations. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to be happy. I'm saying you have to have expectations where you know there's someone that does have a chance to be with you. But you have to stop putting up these fucking, these landmines out here and making more out of it than what it really is. That's also the other problem. It's almost like, best way I can put it, it seems like a lot of these women are getting advice from the wrong women in their lives. Like you said, they're getting advice from these hyenas. They're getting advice from these Pams. They're getting advice from, I even hate to say it, from their mothers who are in that same situation themselves. And it's like, how can you expect to get advice from people who've never been in a committed relationship on being in a committed relationship? If you want to be in a committed relationship, talk to people that are in committed relationships and go from there. But unfortunately, a lot of these women don't want to do that because they are afraid to realize, like our parents said, they're afraid to realize that they've been doing it wrong for so long, and now they got to basically hit the reset button and says, okay, now I got to do something different if this is what I want.
So, Anthony, what you just said really is, and nobody really wants to say it, that men who want to get married, they're the ones who are actually settling for these women.
Absolutely.
When women say they're settling for men, that's bullshit. The men who actually want to get married, dedicate their lives to women, men are the ones who are settling for the shit that's out there.
Think about it. You're settling for baby mamas. You're settling for non-virgins. You're settling for a student loan debt. You're settling for bad attitudes. You know what I'm saying? You're settling for a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think men need to draw the line and say, hey, look,
That's right. Men need to draw the line.
These are the standards. And if you don't meet them, too bad. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Men have been gaslit for so long. They don't even understand it. Listen, when you marry a woman, man, I use my analogy. It's like a vampire in a vampire movie can't come into your house unless you invite them.
Exactly.
When you invite one of these women in there who ain't got it together, it's not like your life is going to fall apart right away. Because, vampires like to play with their food until they get bored. So they'll come in your house, man, you'll love bomb you a little bit, man. You have a couple of kids, and if you have any means necessary, they're gonna find a way that when they're finished with you, they're gonna pounce and leave you in the lurch. So you got to really, really be careful on who you marry. And a lot of guys aren't, just aren't.
Arpain, let me ask you a question, man. We sit up here and say that women don't know how to treat a man. They don't know how to be married. Married couples, they should listen to married couples or whatever. Let me ask you this: how many married couples actually sit down with men and say, hey, this is how you be a husband? Because if we're being honest, married couples are busy running their own marriages. They don't have time. I think if you really want to know how marriages work, you should humble yourself and seek out those people for yourself and ask them. It shouldn't be on the onus of the married couple to come up out of they bliss to come talk to somebody who's being hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
No, you're right. I mean, we have a couple. I mean, if you look in the YouTube streets, how many couples get together and try to counsel people on how to be married? Lady Di and her husband James.
Right.
But how many real big YouTube content creators are doing?
And you know what? That's a great point. Think about it. Hold on a second, Antoine. Think about it. They don't even support channels like that. You know why? Because they don't want to. Think about it. All the channels that they love got all that ratchetness they sent in and the super chats, all kind of money start flowing. And by the way, y'all need to support the show. It's put some money on the tab. You know what I'm saying? We start the break and we ain't had no super chats in a while. You know what I'm saying? So they don't support the channels that actually give them wisdom and hope and direction and things that they can use. So my thing is this: that's an old saying, you put your money where your mouth is, man. They're not buying any books. They're not attending no conferences. They're not doing none of that stuff. They listen to their girlfriend because it's free advice. Well, all advice ain't good advice, especially free advice.
Let me tell you this: if there was money in it, if there was actually money in it, and they could blow it up, Anton Daniels and his wife would have a channel like that.
You know what? I just thought about something, Arpain. I'm in the singles group on Facebook, and out of all the leaders of the singles group, all of the guys are getting married this year, except for me. Got married. And then we had two other guys who were moderators of the group who just got they announced their engagements or whatever. So now I'm left to run the group. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is this: we're producing marriages where we're at. You would think people would be like, hey man, let me listen. You know what they'll say? Well, you ain't married. Yeah, but I know what I'm doing though. Because these are the people I talk to, and they've gotten married. I just got a
do those people have to be a member of your church?
No, you don't have to be a member of the church. This is actually on Facebook. This is people who come across the country who meet and we talk and we mull over these conversations biblically.
What's the link to that? What's the link to that? And
it's called Single Saved with No Kids. You know what I'm saying? We all agree that we save and we single and we ain't got no kids. So everybody's on the same baseline.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the main reason why it works, because A, we got your attention. B, you ain't got your attention divided by all this other stuff. You got a set of rules you got to go by, because you got to go by the Bible. So you can't be out here doing all this other extra stuff. And what it does is it creates an environment where people are actually on the same level playing field, and you get to start with a fresh, clean slate. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's not ashamed or whatever, nothing like that. So I think that is a good point where we need to get back and say, hey, look, I know we messed up in the past, but here's how we fix this. And, here are the rules. Everybody knows the rules, so there's an agreement. And here's who you get to choose from. And I'm telling you, the last couple of guys that's in the group that's with me, you know, we tight. They just announced
Is that just a man's group or men and women?
No, it's men and women. You know,
These all single people with no kids.
Well, put the link. What's the name of it?
It's called Single Save with No Kids. Matter of fact, we going live tomorrow. Tomorrow night on YouTube. I'm a live stream from Facebook. So you guys tune in on Wednesday. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Because the leader Tamel, he got married. Matter of fact, about 2 years ago. It's still up. We pray for him and his wife. They doing real good. So now we got to get Brian and Gabe. They're gonna be getting married soon. So we got good things going on over there, man. But see, here's the thing: people don't want to see all of that. They want to tune in for the drama. But see, we over here doing the actual work that it takes. You know what I'm saying? We being honest with each other, being real. None of this talking points, none of this foolishness you see on the internet. No, what does the Bible say do? And do you agree? You know what I'm saying? That's it. And it's time to get married. So my thing is this, man, is as long as you can find somebody who can agree to some rules that y'all can agree on, then you'll be fine. But the thing about it is
single saved and
no kids. SSNK. Yep. Look it up.
Single saved and no kids?
Yep.
Okay.
And the killing part about it is once you get married, you get graduated, you get kicked out. That's our tradition. You can't come back. You know what I'm saying? So, we kicked out a few people. You know what I'm saying? That went on. Yeah, man. That ain't the only people that got married, man. There's some other people that got married too. Ladies that moved on and got married to the group. A bunch of people, you know. And a lot of times, if people don't see that, they don't think that there is a success that's going on. But let me tell you something, man. Success is quiet, bro.
Yes.
Failure is loud.
Maybe it's too quiet.
Yes. So that's the main reason why we do what we do, so people can see.
Why do you think these women are getting married?
So what now?
Why do you think these women are getting married?
These women get married because they understand their value to their husbands. They understand they actually bring actual value to their husbands. They're actually inspirational to their husbands. They're kind to their husbands. Why would they
want to bring value to their husbands?
They wouldn't be in our group.
Why would they want to bring value to their husband?
So what now?
Why do they want to bring value to their husband?
Oh, because think about it. They're getting a man of God. You know, somebody who's going to bring safety to them. Somebody who's not going to embarrass them. Somebody who's going to provide. You know what I mean? Somebody that's going to show up for them in the time of need. Somebody who is going to honor their vows, you know, until death do you part, forsaking all others, love, cherish, and obey. These guys stand behind what they're talking about. And in a day and age of pookies, I think that's the new high value man.
The guy that they could trust.
That's right.
You know, my wife was a working woman, and when we had our second kid, I had to almost force her to retire because of all not retire, but quit her job. We had a 4-year period where she didn't work until the youngest was able to go to a nursing school.
Right.
But you know, she was told, have your own bank account, never rely on a man 100%. All this shit. I said, listen, you're gonna have to trust. I didn't have to really convince her. I said, you got to get out of this shit so you could chill, stay home with the kids. Because I had just bought a new house. We just bought a new house. I didn't know how I was gonna make it. But I said, listen, I got your back. Just get out of that shit. You're driving me crazy because there's too much pressure on you. I can't fix your job. Get out of that. She spent 4 solid years till our youngest was able to go to nursery school. And she found a job at the church. So it's a fair amount of trust that's necessary. And she just trusted me, and I came through, right? And I didn't tell her all the shit I had to go through to come through. I kept that invisible. I didn't want to look like it was a hardship. I mean, I didn't make $1 million, but I was in the right profession. You know, I was, as an engineer going up the ranks, I was blessed enough to be able to get promotions when it actually mattered. The extra dollars helped, and the job security helped.
Right.
So you know, so that steady check, you know, did us a lot. So anyway, so that's just my story. But women have to trust you. I mean, you know that prototype more than anything else, because safety is the most important thing to them. Safety, security, that kind of stuff. And once they're comfortable with you doing that, so now I can't speak for the ratchet chicks that's out there, but that's one of the things that men offer. You know, Jenny was one of the first women I know who had laundry list of things that women should bring to the table for their man.
That was awesome.
You know, because we've been asking them, you always want something for men. What are you giving us? So Miss Jenny just kind of rattled that shit off like she, you know, like it's just human nature. Because it's supposed to be.
Right. Well, we appreciate Miss Jenny, man. If you're watching, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Antoine, we got a few minutes left, man. 30 seconds, man. Go ahead and wrap us up, brother.
All right, this was a good show and everything. I won't take long. This was a real good show and everything else. I just feel like don't focus too much on the past of someone of the individuals you want to talk to. You know, see what this person brings to the table and see if you can build with this person. If you really want to be with someone, build with them and everything else. I always tell people, find yourself a dream maker. If someone that you can work with, someone that you can build with, if this person can make you a better version of who you are and vice versa, then that's the person you want to try to work with and build with and grow with at the same time. Don't focus too much on the past. If you focus too much on the past, it's going to interfere with your future. So look at the good in the past and make it better. Look at the bad of the past and make sure you don't make those same mistakes. And the best thing I can say is once you start building with that person, you just keep going from there. I mean, that's all I got to say. And those are some words we're thinking about.
Appreciate it, Antoine. Prototype, it's on you, brother. Give us some last few words, bro.
I don't know. I'm in a weird space right now where like I said, I don't necessarily have good relationship advice. But always seek peace. Stay true to yourself. Focus on what's really good for you, and keep negative people away from you. You know what I'm saying? We really don't have time for pessimists to be in your life. So, you know, keep things moving forward into a positive light.
That's some good stuff, brother. Appreciate you for coming out, Prototype. As always, man, it's a pleasure, brother.
Always.
Our pain, take us out of here, man.
Okay, yeah, man. Anniversary is this Friday, man. So me and the wife gonna just be hanging out, man, doing our thing for the 21st. Monday I'm not gonna be on. So 38 years.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna be hanging out.
In the work, man. 38 years.
38 years.
That's that old school stuff right there. That's that vintage.
For sure.
Right.
And people think they look at me and say, "Oh my God, you got to be bored out of your mind." My wife ain't like that though.
That's called peace.
Yeah, it's peace.
It's called peace.
It's a trip. Anyway, that's it, man.
Appreciate
nice seeing all you fellas up here tonight.
Yeah, man. Tonight was a good night. We had a good discussion, man. My whole thing is this, man. Make sure you get with somebody, man, who can work with you and you can work with them, and just be honest with each other. You know, a lot of times people say the past don't matter. You know what? My thing is this: as long as you know what you're supposed to do, as long as you find somebody who can roll up their sleeves and work with you, you can always build. You know, we always want to give each other grace and mercy when it's needed. But my thing is this: make sure you can find somebody you can actually equally work with. And I think if you can do that, you can build something. With that being said, I'm going to thank everybody for coming out. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit subscribe, and make sure you share this content, man, because we're trying to get this thing out there growing. And it's hard to put the good message out there because sometimes the algorithm goes against you when you ain't out here with this ratchetness. So that's the reason why we had to put up the thumbnails or whatever to get y'all going and get you gassed up to come on up in here. But I do appreciate everybody for coming out. Make sure you guys go back and watch the replay, the shorts and the clips, and support the show with your Cash App, and also hit the doggone super chat from time to time. The super thanks. We really do appreciate y'all for supporting us up. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you. God bless and good night.